6,520 pounds, the very cool and very different 29 TE Grey Wolf here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This is an odd, interesting, kind of Franken camper where they just sort of pieced a bunch of ideas together and it just kind of worked. So it's got a private front bedroom, and right next to that is a full master bathroom with a nice radius shower instead of a travel trailer tub that has triple entry doors from the bedroom, hallway, and outside. We've got our main living room door in the back that takes us to a super slide living room. We've built this one with a private rear bunkhouse, and you've got a full-size camp kitchen. But it does all that at 6,520 pounds. The weight is very half-ton towable. Where you really need to watch this one, guys, is it is a fairly long camper, so you need to make sure you've got a vehicle with a longer wheelbase and a good heavy-duty anti-sway system to make sure you keep it under control. I think most of the time folks are going to see the rear area entry door as the primary door, and I've got the slide closed right now because I wanted to show you. You can hop in here. If you need to make a travel stop, you can get to all of the kitchen, really. I mean, you can get to all the countertop space, all your kitchen storage. And if you're really super skinny, you could probably squeeze, I don't know, even then, a little kid could squeeze between that slide and the wall to get to the bathroom and the front bedroom. But you don't need to, because there's a second door in this camper. We'll see in just a second. Before I hop up there, though, I did want to point out something here. The Cherokee company gives us two options for this rear room right here. Normally, it's an open-air triple bunk area with a privacy curtain, or you can build it with this enclosed wall and door and a corner queen, a second private bedroom. We've kind of split the difference here. We have built this with the privacy wall, but it does still have the bunks. We've found this to be the most interesting and desirable choice for a lot of clients because it still gives us the privacy there with having 3 separate sleeping spaces. But you can see that it just doesn't play very nicely with the slide when you do that. Well, you don't necessarily need to. If you do need to make a travel and sleeping stop, we've got this huge like 7-foot U-dinette here. We could sleep 2 kids there, maybe an adult. Plus, we do still have the sleeper sofa up front, and we'll see those in action later. But you can still sleep everybody on the road. You can still feed everybody on the road, and as we're about to see, you can still make potty stops on the road. Because that's what this door does right here. This is the TE in the 29 TE. It's a triple entry bathroom door. You've got the outside door, the hallway door, and then you've got the bedroom door. So the RV, it's not fully travel accessible, but because you have the sleeper seating in the living room to replace the bunkhouse in transit, it is still fully travel functional. It's easy to miss, but this basically shares the living room of the 264 DBH Cherokee, which it doesn't have a private bunkhouse one like this. It's similar but not identical, but they both do something I like. They flip-flop the entertainment and the kitchen areas. And the reason I like that is, like, the entry door is right over here to our right. I'm standing at the bunkhouse currently, just if that helps you get your bearings. Well, if somebody wants to come in and grab something from the fridge, in most trailers with an arrangement like this, your sofa's over here. You have to walk past the sofa, past the entertainment, and you kind of interrupt the flow of everything. But in this one, you kind of have a little more obvious zone going on over here, where you've got this entertainment zone happening next to the bedroom area with, people can come and go and not interrupt anything. They can get in and out of the bathroom. They can get in and out of the bunks, the kitchen. Never disturb anybody. So if you have maybe a kid who needs to just chill out, relax a little bit, you need to kind of put a little show on to entertain them, or if they're just eating, you need them to slow down, you've got a good spot here for it. Now, TVs would be a piece of equipment you would add to a Cherokee RV. We found that we can get you an equal size or larger TV for the same price or less than they're doing from the factory here. So we just simply don't tend to add TVs from the factory to this brand. Every brand is a little bit different that way. That's part of the reason we carry so many brands here at Haylett RV. They all bring a lot of cool, neat, different things to the table. The sofa is also kind of like a little bit of a cinema style sofa. You see that fold down armrest in the middle there. It's got a couple cup holders, although you could flip that up out of the way. If you need some little night lighting, or you just want a neat little color accent, there is an indirect LED sort of glow lightsaber beam going on above the slide there. But if you don't want it, you don't need to turn that on. These do have central air. At this price point, most things will. There are still some campers, even at this budget, where central air is not standard but optional. I would be shocked if dealers weren't building them that way. That very much surprised me. Anyway, so another cool thing in the entertainment wall is that it's angled toward all of the seating. So it's never going to be a neck crank scenario. But what's really deceptive, like this has a cool living room, but the facilities here in the kitchen are awesome. We kick it right off with a huge pantry. This is a 6.5 foot tall by, I don't know, 22, 24 inch wide, something like that. It's bigger than the refrigerator. And what I like is it's not only deep, but it's wide. You don't have to go armpit deep to get to anything. You can really pack this thing up. You can just go bananas inside of here and really load her down. And that bottom area right there, you might notice there's a little weird angled plank. That's kind of like an access point to things like maybe your water pump for winterizing or something like that. There's some kind of plumbing or fixture or function down there. Over in our kitchen area, it's the first time that we see the sealed edge counters that are used throughout the entire RV. Those type of countertops, they're very nice. They're becoming more and more common in the business, thankfully. This is a good thing. But a lot of brands are still using them in kitchen only, and in a Cherokee, you have them kitchen, dinette, bathroom, everywhere. Kind of like the Catalinas that we have here at Haylett RV. Very similar in that regard. They're also really awesome about lighting up their kitchen like a Christmas tree. The prototype name they had for that was the Cherokee Super Kitchen because it just has a really nice look and feel to it. And then just the little things like the bevel glass inserts to just kind of jazz up, dress up, and break up the monotony, potentially, of the woodwork here. It all looks really good. The light-dark color contrast they have going on makes the RV look and feel bigger. And you see that huge stainless farm sink right there, that skirted stainless sink. You can belly right up to that sucker. You can splash water around. It's not going to damage anything. Obviously, you don't want to splash water and drizzle it down your cabinets, but, you know, be smart about this. You've also got that recessed stovetop, and we're going to come back to that in just a second as we look down here. You see that sink cover I've got sitting on the open oven door right now. I just kind of had to get that out of the way real quick. But it is the same material as the countertop, and that'll come into play in just a second. They've revised this from its previous incarnation, so it does have a nice little spot here for a wastebasket. And you see that we do have a set of full extension plywood drawers here, so you can actually keep your utensils, your tongs and everything. But notice how the drawers, they're double drawers that are taller. So, you know, those spatulas and stuff that like to keep drawers from closing, you're not going to have to deal with that here. And this is what I meant by coming back to this. You throw that sink cover in place, you fold down that stovetop, you notice that everything is kind of recessed in flush mount, and it actually gives you a pretty respectable amount of prep space here. And you notice you've also got easy reach appliance outlets and a handy spot to like keep a phone charging right by the door. And I don't think this was their intention, but frankly, that's a perfect little phone charging shelf right there. I know they didn't mean to do that, but it works really, really well. Now, as we flip back around here, I want to take a look at this true U-dinette. And I refer to it as that because there are a lot of dinettes out there that are 2-bench dinettes that just have kind of a mini bench thrown on the rear wall to pretend it's a U-dinette. This is a 7-foot by like 44-inch deep true U-dinette. You want to get the whole family wrapped around this thing, this is what you want to be looking at right here. This can also become an adult-sized or easily 2-kid sleeper. And this is what I was talking about when the slide was closed. I said you might not be able to get to the bunks in transit, but you can still sleep the family in transit. And there's no problem with using that slide out to just sleep a couple kids when it's closed. There's different types of slide systems. This one will do just fine with that. You might also have noticed we've got these huge 40-inch full extension dinette drawers down here with that plywood box construction. That's actually the same type of material that we're walking on. This has a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor decking. It gives you full, easy access to the storage below those dinette bench ends. Next to that, the sofa does fold down, and it's a simple little bifold. Now those armrests, I've just kind of got pushed against the exterior of the slide wall right now. They're free-floating, they're removable armrest bolsters. You can swap those out of there if you prefer so that they're not necessarily like in the way. And you can see how we do have those full privacy shades going on here, not pleated metal blinds. So if you really want to blot out the sun, you can. And remember, you do still have that, I've got it turned off currently, obviously, but that blue LED accent light above the slide, Maybe during the day, it's not your thing, but in the evenings, it makes an awesome nightlight to be able to get through the camper so the kids can get up to the bathroom. As we pass back into the bunk room, we go under this kitchen skylight up here, which does have a sunshade, by the way. It gives us a lot of light, but if it starts generating a lot of heat, you can kind of shut that thing there, and it's amazing how much heat that will keep out. Not to mention you won't feel like an ant under a magnifying glass, you know what I mean? So again, we have built this one. Let me take a step back. With a custom private bunk wall. Normally, you have either an open bunkhouse or you have an enclosed corner queen second bedroom, both of which are neat. So we kind of mashed the two together and came up with a swinging door private bunkhouse. This gives us 3 separate sleeping spaces here. And what's kind of cool is this thing is loaded with windows. They put a lot of glass back in here so that it never looks like a damp, dark hole. Something else you might have keyed into, you're not going to find floor vents in a Grey Wolf. That's one of the differences from its, I guess call it brother, sister, whatever, Cherokee, is they don't put vents in the floor of this. They do have heat ducting, so it tends to be a preferential item for bunk models like this, just so that the kids aren't stepping on them. They're not dropping Skittles down them or anything like that. We got a little bit wider bunk over here. I call it a big kid bunk. We've got TV hookups on the rear wall above that sort of entertainment kind of stand, as it were. We've also got a built-in bunk ladder right here so that you don't have to use your blown-out, torn rotator cuff to throw the kids up into bed. And as they say in the infomercials, but that's not all. The difference is I'm not trying to also sell you the shoes under for $9.95, just pay shipping and handling or whatever. You get the idea. You've got, I like how they didn't just have open air shelving on the left here. That is something a lot of brands will do, is they'll have shelves, but it's open air, so it's not that they're terribly untravel friendly, it's just that these are completely traveling friendly, because if you're bouncing around and the bunk area is behind the axles and will bounce the most, just like the rear seats of a school bus if you think about it, if you just put stuff there, it would tend to bounce around and fall out. But they did a couple things here. First of all, they put doors on it. Secondly, they put these really aggressive lips inside of here, top and bottom, so that stuff is not inclined to sort of wiggle and fall out. Plus, we've got that awesome rear cabinet area there. You could use it for a shoe garage below, fold up a ton of clothes, beach towels, whatever. You can really do a heck of a job packing this thing up for a long, extended stay family kind of trip. So that was the back end of the camper. Here's the front end of the camper. You've got that big viewing window over here on the left. Now, it doesn't open for airflow, but there's a reason for it. It wouldn't get a lot of airflow. There's no window opposed to it, so there's not a whole lot of like cross breeze to be able to run through it. This is a, well, not a dual entry. It's a triple entry bathroom, as we've discussed. There are 3 ways to get in and out of here, which is the TE of the Tedward Edward. It's stupid, but I love that name because I like stupid things. Anyway. So again, no floor vents, foot flush stool with tons of room in here. So whether you've got long legs like mine or you need to stand somewhere to get dressed, you can do it. And a big radius shower, not a travel trailer tub. That is always a crowd pleaser feature. And it does, of course, have surround paneling. If I get up high enough, you can kind of spy that in there. We also, in all of your Cherokee stuff, have the larger, like Max Air style vent fan right here, and that will give you a lot more airflow, and that is actually exactly why these doors are slotted at the top. Now it's way too high, you can't peek over it, there's no loss of privacy. Heat rises, steamy air from showering rises. If you're breathing in that bedroom, you're in a small enclosed box creating a lot of heat simply by breathing and existing. That was kind of the whole point of the Matrix, if you remember. Well, that heat rises, and this thing will suck that right out of there and kick that right out of the camper. As true to form with Cherokee products, we've got an oversized vanity, and I love how they angle mount these so that it's actually facing into the bathroom, not beside the bathroom, and an extra large sink so that adult hands can actually fit in there with more of that. It's actually called thermal foil, but sealed edge countertop type stuff. Swinging up here into the private bedroom, you'll note that both sides of the bed do have full-length hanging wardrobes, but they also both have side stands, both of which have dual sets of outlets, home and USB plugs. The sort of bedding ensemble they have here, it really ties into that light-dark contrast, and I think it's just got an absolute dynamite look to it. And you can see that you also have that full big viewing window over here to keep an eye on the kids and your campsite. Compared to the previous generation, there is nearly nothing new on the outside here, with pretty much the sole exception of the pet leash latch that they've included next to that camp kitchen, but we'll get back there in a minute. But if you've never seen one of these, thank you for joining us. I think you're going to like what you see. A lot of brands do a aluminum sweep on the nose now as compared to like a corrugated nose. I think it gives it a really, really good look, but there's more than just that to it. The aluminum on that nose is 67% thicker than the aluminum on the sidewall. And what that basically means in English, it is very good at deflecting gusty headwinds. It doesn't tend to cave. It also is very good at deflecting stones flung by other things. Now take note, I'd like you to take a second here to count up the number of decals that you see out here. There's the one that says Grey Wolf, there's the picture of the wolf, and then there's the other one that says Grey Wolf under those sidewall windows in the Super Slide. That's it. This is basically a painted exterior, which is the kind of thing people pay tons of extra money for, you know, on a big fifth wheel or a toy haul or a motorhome or something like that. But that's just how these are built every day. So it really helps. You don't have peeling, fading, flaking issues. And it's one of the good qualities that is very often overlooked about this style and classification of camper, is that, frankly, they're pretty rugged, you know? And you've got the same seals as any luxury fifth wheel to maintain, but you've got less skin maintenance, really, that you have to do. It's pretty darn cool. Couple key differences on the Grey Wolf here. Like, they've got a power awning, power tongue jack. That stuff's a dime a dozen. Everybody has that. I'm not going to waste your time talking about it. I want to show you a little bit more of, like, the under-the-skin stuff. Like, you see that chassis? You see how those the tongue actually integrates into the chassis itself. Grey Wolves ride on a different style of frame. It's a custom engineered chassis, and effectively what it does is it allows the whole RV to set a little bit closer to the ground. You've still got plenty of sewer hose clearance and everything there, and that's the reason that these have a double step and not a triple step. But it basically means that this thing has a full-size interior height without having a full-size interior height with a reduced exterior height. It is early. I haven't had my caffeine. Pardon me. Full outside utility shower over here. You've also got seal gripping, leak preventing slide walls. Really rough texture on that will grab those wiper seals. And this is cool. You've got a little courtesy light right here that operates on a separate switch from everything else, so that if it's evening and you need to utilize your little sewer area here, you can do so. You can see what you're doing clearly, because you don't want to be guessing when you're hooking up sewer stuff. The last thing you want is a loose connection, am I right? And then you can turn it off, because you don't want this bright white light on if you're camping next to somebody. Bright lights in the evening hours are the #1 complaint at common parks. We also do like to build our Cherokee products with enclosed holding tanks, just to give you that extra sort of protection, whether it's from critters, from debris, or if it's just going to drop down to near or just below freezing, then come back tomorrow, you'll be okay here. Back here behind that Super Slide, there's a neat little bonus storage pocket that I don't want to overlook. It actually goes right under the bottom bunk on the driver's side, which is obviously where we're located. I don't know why I felt the need to explain it in that much detail. You folks are not fools. This is neat because you can use this. I think what I would do right here is I would include a couple totes. I'd have like a tote for my freshwater stuff. I'd have maybe my TV cable kind of coax sort of wound up in there. I'd have a separate tote for my like black tank type stuff, all my sewer stuff. And you could keep that completely separate from anything that you put in the front pass-through that we'll see later. And you could use that front pass-through for, like, your chairs, your yard games, anything, you know, your picnic-type stuff. So it's nice that you have separate storage locations for that. You see that 200-pound cargo travel rack on the back here with that spare tire on it? The spare tire is actually an optional piece of equipment that we have applied to these. We do it across the board. If a spare tire is ever optional, it's going to be not optional at Haylett RV. We want to make sure you have that backup plan, although understand I really hope you never need to use it. You do not need to take the spare tire off to drop that gate down, by the way. We do have a fully walkable roof. We've got 5/8 tongue and groove plywood flooring. The secret to the sauce of the Grey Wolf series here is not so much how they're built. It's the crazy high level of appointment on an, you know, easily mistaken as entry-level trailer that makes them work. And everything we've looked at is pretty cool, for sure. But what they have going on over here on the campsite of the RV is just awesome. They do one of the most feature-heavy full-size camp kitchens I've seen in any RV, let alone one that could be referred to as stick and tin or entry level. That's the cool thing again about Cherokee products. They have a far higher equipment package than you would think, just based on the fact that they have that wavy aluminum skin. They're very easily overlooked. For instance, this has a just massive, it's like, oh, what is it? It's like 5.7 cubic foot fridge and freezer. That's the thing. It's not just an outside fridge. This is fridge and freezer space. It doubles effectively your cold storage capacity. It gives this thing nearly 12 cubic foot of cold storage total. Now we've got a real sink with a real drain to a holding tank over here and an ice maker, so that you don't have to be running in and out of the RV all the day. You don't have to deal with those little ice trays. Everything is just kind of out here where it belongs. And plus with the bathroom entry door, you can keep from tracking dirt in and out of the RV the whole time. That handy drawer on the bottom left over there gives you the perfect place for utensils, and having that 2-burner cooktop out here again keeps you outside, and it keeps the heat from getting into the RV. All your Cherokee family stuff has adopted the simple but effective little pet leash latch. What's funny is it's just a little toy hauler tie down, basically from the Wolfpack Cherokee factory, but it works. It doesn't have to be fancy, it just has to work. But what's nice is it kind of fits the whole sort of, gray decor that they got going on out here, so it doesn't look like hillbilly fabulous, Our MORryde entry steps with those adjustable foot pegs marry up to just about any campsite, and what's great about these is they keep the camper from rocking and rolling as people come and go. As we pan up, you see that we do have a larger entry handle for that door, and both of our entry doors are an anti-slam door, so the wind and the kids won't smash them against the side of the trailer. Power awning here is also an easy tilt power awning. This is a very cool feature right here. It literally requires just 2 fingers, and ta-da, there you go. And then when you're done with it, you can flatten it right back out. But what if you forget to do that? No big deal. Cherokee's got you. That's a self-correcting awning. If you leave it cranked down on a wacky angle like that and you close the thing, it will sort itself out before you get, when it opens again, basically. It'll fix itself on the way shut. They do these neat little mag wheels, but what I wanted to look at down here are these very simple but very effective tire pressure indicator caps on your valve stems, so that at a glance, without actually having to get out the little tire pressure stick, which they're kind of somewhat reliable but not exact, you can see if your tires have proper inflation, right there before you leave. We do have outside TV hookups, so just like inside, should you choose to add a TV to your Cherokee, you've got a really awesome place here for it, or you can deck this thing out with multiple screens, because you've got, 4 separate, I suppose, TV zones. They do all share kind of connected wiring, though, so you're not going to get different images on the different screens unless you have local devices plugged into them, which is not hard today, thankfully, with all the USB type stuff we have. It'll throw some people off. The black tank flushes right here instead of the other side of the RV, but this is really the only place it can be, and it's the most direct route to the black holding tank, because our bathroom is right here. The opposite side of the RV, remember, has like a slide out and windows. There's no wall to run any sort of plumbing, so it does need to be right there, but it doesn't affect your day-to-day camping arrangement or anything like that. Remember, we do have that triple entry system here. Now you might note that this is a double step as opposed to a triple step. Remember that integrated chassis that we talked about at the front driver's corner? Remember, the whole RV sits a little bit lower to the ground, a little easier coming and going for kids, grandparents, or even just an adult who's got like a bad knee or hip or something. Because, man, I know that I'm not that old, but I know that my knees are starting to catch up with me. It's crazy. So we saw the bathroom from the inside, but I thought, hey, I'd take a quick peek out here to show you that direct entry one more time. And then we've got our front storage compartment up here that goes, from the campsite here to under the bed. But you've also got that simple side mount solar prep plug right there. So if you get one of those solar suitcase jobs, you want to do some off-grid camping, or you just want to do a little bit of battery tending when you're not using her, you've got a nice little spot where you can do something like that. And you might notice anything that's exposed around the baggage door here, because this area is likely to be exposed to more water, like dripping down the door in the morning, even condensation, not just necessarily rain. So they hit this with a just really heavy application of an anti-wicking treatment to make sure water's not going to soak in there. And I don't know where these mosquitoes are coming from, but I am getting chewed up right now, and I need to start swatting at these things, so I'm going to let you go. But one last thought. We don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else, whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between. We pretty much do it all at Haylett RV. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. And yes, I am using the force to close that awning. Live long and prosper.